the subject matter is one that is so important to the American people, and I think this subject matter is probably, as much as anything else, what caused the change in the elections that took place. The American public was angry that nobody worried about the integrity of the lending practices or the integrity of the bankers or the integrity of the Wall Street folks who bundled all these mortgages and securitized them and made them so complex that nobody knew where they originated and made the problem of dealing with these foreclosures so difficult. Rather than worry about the integrity of that process, and I did it too because it was the right thing to do, and Chairman Frank said so appropriately that it was what would be considered a collateral benefit, that sometimes you have to help the people who caused the harm to help the whole system. And the collateral benefit went to Wall Street, but we put $700 and something billion. What was a bipartisan effort, President Bush's idea and Secretary Paulson's and a goodly number of Republicans and Democrats joined together to make a very difficult vote, but one that was necessary, but one that took care of keeping in place the people who perpetrated and were responsible for the foreclosure crisis, the unemployment situation of this country, and almost put this country and the world's economies underwater. We took care of those people who got the major salaries and the major bonuses and are living just as well on Wall Street. We didn't put any of them in jail. None of them suffered in any way whatsoever for morally reprehensible conduct, and who benefited financially to a great extent and whose lives are better than ever. And yet the homeowner and the unemployed who need unemployment insurance and who need help with their mortgages are considered to be detritus. They're considered to be collateral damage, and nobody's cared about them. Well, the fact is the Democratic Congress, and there probably were a few Republican votes with us, but predominantly this Democratic Congress has cared and tried to help. I think that the modifications and bankruptcy is the answer, and it's so important because nothing else has worked, and there needs to be somebody with a lever to help the homeowner, and nobody does. These people are the forgotten victims of all of this economic fallout. They are the Purple Hearts of this economy, and they're being forgotten about in terms of help with their foreclosures. And yes, we might have to do some things that are unusual, but they have been put in this position by people who made subprime loans, who made deals that maybe they were too good to be true, but they made those offers and they were wrong and got people into loans and obligations greater than they could afford. They've lost their monies, their homes, and a lot of excess costs that they otherwise would not have incurred if they weren't lured into it. Many have lost their jobs. And now that they need unemployment benefits, there are people who don't want to give them to them. What you do unto the least of thee, you do unto me. And for those who are given much, much is expected. And at this time, when Christians and Jews and Muslims and Hitchens all should be thinking about what we are privileged to have, and those that may not be privileged to have, we're not doing it. We're thinking about, and what this Congress has seen and this administration's been seen, wrongfully so, I believe, by the public, is caring about those that have much and taking care of those that cause the problem and keeping them in their high lofts in Wall Street and not caring about the little fella. And that's what we need to do, and we need to have modifications of mortgages, and we need to act, and if we err, we need to err on the side of the people who have been injured and harmed. With that, I will yield back the remainder of my time, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.